Previously on Twilight's Edge, our band of incidental colleagues escaped into the sewers beneath Vitcho's tavern. Splitting off from their friends and allies, they made their stand at a sewer intersection against a quartet of Hell Knight armigers. Sombra had a brush with death, but with some help from Sakun, she got back into the fight and joined her companions in dispatching these armored antagonists. Now, our protagonists must make their way through the cramped sewer system towards this so-called safehouse to learn the details of the plot they have inadvertently become a part of.
Hello and welcome back to Tumble Through!
Tumble Through!
I am your GM, Krifu Bernal. My pronouns are he, him. And welcome back to episode 3, my dear friends, as we continue on with classic RPG tropes. Meet in a tavern? Check. Adventure in the sewers? Check. What else will we check off the classic list? We'll find out. But first, let's re-meet the cast.
Hi, I'm Anna. I use they them pronouns, and I'll be playing Lowen, he they pronouns, a Hellspawn Nephilim wizard.
Hi, my name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm playing Sombra, whose pronouns are she, they, who is a fetchling or Kayal monk.
Hi, I'm Pan, and I play Flynn, the Dragon Scale Kobold Ruffian Rogue. My pronouns are he, they, she, and Flint's are he, they.
Hi, I'm Evan. My pronouns are he, him, and I'll be playing Nico, the Matangi Orc Druid.
Hi, I'm Marcus. Pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Zakun, the Grave Orc Oracle. Also pronouns he, him, and always ready to get the party back up on their feet when they hit 0 hit points after a crit is rolled. Let's see how that goes this session.
I'm so sorry.
Not going to happen this time, though, is it?
Now that you've said it,
no,
Evan.
jinxed it.
Now that you've said it.
As the camera opens, we see darkness, accompanied by the splashing of 5 pairs of feet running through the clean-looking but foul-smelling, cramped sewers of West Crown. These tunnels are 5 feet wide and like 5 feet tall, so the majority of this group are hunched over, hurrying through these claustrophobia-inducing tunnels, till eventually we come to a small intersection, a 3-way intersection. And as the party sort of spills out of this tunnel, we can see them here again. A bright light is shining off of Zekun.
There's a little pale white wisp that is circling around Zekun to illuminate the area around him and try to keep all of his companions in the light as well.
We can see Lowen and Nico maybe looking a little out of breath from the run, but otherwise fine. But as the light shines onto Flint and Sombra, we can see that they are wounded. Flint is bloodied, actually. You took quite a few longsword slashes, whilst Zekun's healing has patched up most of Sombra's injuries. She's wounded 1, whatever that looks like.
Sombra is moving. She is running. She is being attentive, and she seems to be moving swiftly. But the second we all stop and take a breath, Sombra tries and fails to hold back a wince. She may look fine, but it's very likely she's like at least a rib or 2 broken.
That's clear to people around her. Would anyone pick up on that?
She tried to hold it back, but the second you kind of lean over, take a deep, big breath. Oh, fuck. But otherwise, the patch job is holding.
Zekun's looking at the party now that we're spilling out into this place in the sewers where we have a bit of distance between the place of where we had the encounter and where we are now. With the light circling around him, he looks at the rest of the party members and says, All right. I know we all want to get out here, but I think some of us are hurting a bit. How about, he looks at Sombra and Flint, you two, you sit down there, just for a moment, I'll get you patched up. And then he glances over at Nico and Lowen. Do you two have any idea where we should be heading? Maybe you can scout ahead a little while I take care of these two.
Well, I don't know where the safe house is, I don't think. But I can help try patch up as well if you want to work on the monk, and I'll have a I'll have a go at the Tari.
That would be much appreciated. And
Then I suppose I will go scout ahead and see what I can find.
not too far though, Lowen. You don't know if any more of these Hell Knights are down here. Or whatever else hides in this city in the sewers.
Sure, it'll be fine. And he'll just start walking off ahead. Got dark vision, so he doesn't need the light from Zekun.
Perfect. Zekun turns his attention to what Sombra, already taking out his healer's kit from his backpack. Where does it hurt?
Normally this would get a really snappy answer, and I usually have a good one in the queue, but fuck. And she raises one of her arms behind her back so her elbow is pointed up, and with her other arm just kind of undoes some bandages that are normally on the side underneath her loose linen clothing. And as she lifts some of the bandages, you see that there is heavy, dark bruising. You also see probably old scars, healed over wounds from fights, trainings, but the dark, heavy bruising seems to be most pertinent at the moment. Definitely hurts when I breathe. Fuck, if anything else comes in, I can still take them, but...
I have no doubt about that. Just breathe, and is it okay if I touch that?
Yeah. Do your thing, Doc.
Zekun takes out like a few cold pads, a few salves that he has, and he's noticing the older scar tissue there. And while he's busy patching up, he goes, "You've been in a war?"
We've all been in some kind of war.
Oh.
I guess, takes one to know one?
You took that hit like someone who's experienced in that, and I mean that as a compliment, not in a... It takes a bit of skill to get back up from a hit like that.
I'm a little surprised I'm talking to you about it, because the smart thing would have been for all of you to run away.
No, and as he speaks, he like puts this cool salve that smells faintly of mint on the bruises, like very gently puts it on and says, "I'm done with leaving people behind that I can still save. Now, this one might hurt a little. I have to put a little bit pressure here. And at this point, I would like to make my treats wound checks for Sombra. Basically, the only reason I'm mostly doing this is to get rid of the wounded condition in this case, because there's not much hit points to fix here, but I'm mostly hoping to get the wounded condition gone there. That is a 23, so that's a success. So you restore 6 hit points, and the wounded condition is gone.
Thanks, Doc. And thanks for earlier. If it comes to saving more, you run with who you have.
And he just looks at you, taking that in. He looks at you as if he's heard those words coming from someone else before. And in the past, he might have had also a snappy response to this. But for now, he smiles, gives you a slightly too hard tap on the shoulder, and goes, "Your clothes will smell a little bit of mint for a while, but it should fix the bruising. Get a lot of sleep, drink tea, and don't exercise too much."
No.
So this is about 10 minutes time that's happening during these treat wounds. So during this 10 minutes, Lowen, what are you doing?
See, I was wondering if I could potentially use my underworld lore to try and find out, like, hidden symbols. if there is any way I can use that to have a better idea of like knowing where to look for where people would potentially hide these symbols, or where, you know, if people would like, for example, put them up high or lower, knowing from experience, like, you know, with like smuggling stuff and just being secretive in general.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a blind underworld lore. I think you are definitely familiar with where people would hide these things. You don't want to have it eye level, of course. In the sewers, it makes sense. You don't want it to be too low either. A heavy rain might cause these sort of chalk markings to just get washed away.
Right.
So where would it be?
Yeah, so Lowen starts looking up. Starts looking up and like along the walls. Also looking maybe... what's the wall made? Is it like bricks, or is it more carved out of stone?
It's stone, but actually you make a good point. I really should open up the adventure module before we jumped into things.
We like to ask the essential questions here. What kind of stone is used for this sewer?
I didn't know we had some dwarves in the party.
Yeah, is it like brick? Is it like a very more softer kind of stone?
Is it man-hewn?
If it was brick, you could look at like the bits and pieces between and see if there's like anything carved in there or whatever.
Is it made out of Lego?
Yes.
It is very much made of stone. You're noticing too that when the sewage channels will sort of, because you're literally half in, half out of the sewage, because it's a 5-foot wide tunnel, 2.5 feet of like stone ledge and 2.5 feet of water that you're kind of like just marching through. And you're noticing also that there are points where that sewage channel will cause the stone to become quite slippery. It's mostly water, but of course there are other things in it. And you are definitely noticing, as I mentioned last time, how clean it seems in here. There's, I mean, it smells, but there's you're not like stepping in piles of trash or anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to look up for any carvings, or I think I'm specifically also going to be close to the wall in case whatever might have been used, like if they've not been carved, if they painted, if it's like a really close color to the stone itself that you might not pick up if you're further away.
I think, Lowen, you're thinking very professionally. And as you look up, you can see in white chalk a sword pointing down the third tunnel.
Yeah. I think Lowen sees that, like it's in white chalk, and he just thinks like, his size is just like, that's too easy.
Big eye roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it as I'm walking, I'm just seeing one, or is it as I'm walking, I see multiple? I'm not going too far, but like...
There's just because this is a 3-way intersection, and there are 2 tunnels, one to the left and one to the right. You see it for the one to the right.
Okay. I think when he clocks that, he'll start walking back to the others.
Start making your way back.
Yeah, I'm making my way back.
Meanwhile, Nico has been administering first aid.
Yeah. Oh, so just pop yourself up there, and we'll get you patched up. Don't you worry a bit. Fugo, would you mind helping me? Yeah. And he sort of like goes down. He's got his like healer's kit on his side.
As he's doing that, Flint's already been trying to reach for their own healer's kit to patch his goes, no, it's fine.
No. Let me. You just lie back. I've got this. Don't you worry. You're clearly in pain and distress and injured. Look at you.
I always like this. Minus the blood.
Exactly. Minus the blood. You've lost a lot of blood. You're probably delirious. Are you right? How many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, he's looking at your hand and going, bananas.
He's in trouble. Fugo, quickly, bring me the twine. And he goes past the healer's kit to some like bits of twine and go, and good. This is some good twine, good stuff. Any more of the finer material? Yes. And he starts weaving it into this wicker horn, this tiny little wicker horn, and casts cornucopia. Vines twist into this little wicker horn, and once I'm done, there's like a little twinkle about it, and I go, oh yeah, and I tap it out onto my palm, and out spills a little bacillus fruit. You know what those ones are? Like a ground cherry. It's like a little yellow cherry in the middle of this kind of like filigree of leaves tucked around it. And peel open the outer leaves of this little cherry. There you go. Just eat that.
Yeah, but Flint opens his mouth wide. It's mostly teeth. He's got a face a bit like a shark, and just tongue lolls out for this berry.
I place it carefully on your tongue.
Snaps closed.
Yeah, so you feel it tastes delicious. And not only heals your body, but also makes you feel a little bit cooler and chill. Takes away some of the trauma of that battle. 7 points of healing.
Yeah, 7 points of healing. Yeah, nice. So yeah, he like almost immediately he sees the color start to come back to him, and he's like, "Oh, that is good. Much better than bananas."
Much better than bananas and healers kits. But hey, I need 10 minutes to do it. So yeah, we're all good.
Don't worry, I don't count on getting stabbed again anytime soon. How's the monk?
They're in safe hands by the looks of it.
Sombra has gotten up and is doing one-handed push-ups on the ground.
Yeah, they're fine.
Zakun is face palming.
Amazing. No exercise, the doctor said.
Yeah.
And then immediately.
Isn't your patient gonna like undo your good work?
Yeah, okay, they look fine, I guess.
Okay.
Are we all here? Is it be okay?
I'm just glad that these sewers are so clean here. That makes all this patching up so much easier to do.
Why are they so clean? Do they have
I didn't think for sewer.
do they have a council group that come down here and sweep them, or
What a thankless job that would be. Something's down here and clean this place.
it's a waste of money? They could be spending money on better things up on top.
I don't know, I guess a clean sewer does imply a clean foundation. You kind of want that.
GM, would Sombra know why these sewers be so clean as an experienced smuggler? Maybe she and her halfling old troop have taken to the sewers before?
Feel free to roll a society check. Yes. And recall knowledge, so it's blind.
Can I roll instead Underworld?
Yes, go for it.
Just a question regarding the spell, the Primal Focus spell. I haven't cast one of those before. Does that mean I can just cast that? It doesn't take up like a spell slot, or is it?
Is it one of your focus spells?
Yeah.
Then it takes your focus point, which you have maybe 1 or 2 of. It says at the top of your focus spell entry. And you can get your focus point back after 10 minutes of refocusing. So usually you can cast this pretty often, but you will need, once your focus points are gone, you will need 10 minutes of refocusing.
Is that like a meditation type thing?
It can be anything that would like befitting your magical tradition, like whatever Nika would do as a druid to get these things back. Like it could be meditation, could be some kind of grounding, but it can be anything that would fit the character.
Probably like foraging, I guess, something like that.
Sombra, you assume the sewers were so clean because they were made very efficiently, and halflings have a lot of thankless jobs in the city. So assumption / guess that, and especially because of the size, that there's a halfling workforce that keeps things clean. You've never seen anyone down here, nor have you met any halfling sewage workers, but it's as good of a guess as you've got.
Didn't have too much time to think about it. I was normally rushing through sewers, and a lot of the sewers I went through weren't as clean, but I didn't exactly stop and take in the beautiful surroundings,
Flint hoists himself up and says, well, I mean, it's good stonework at least, but I don't really want to stay down here longer than we have to.
I agree with the Dotari. I think we're meant to follow these symbols that we can find to get to the hideout.
Yeah, I think at this point, Lowen returns. And is like, well, I found the sign in white chalk, no less. I might have well just drawn an arrow on the wall with the word safehouse in giant letters. But
Handy.
follow me. I think I know where we should go.
As we step off, Flint turns and says, oh, by the way, it is Flint. You don't have to call me Datari all the time. Right now, consider me off duty.
Oh, good
Understood.
to know, Flint. Pleasure. I'm Nico. I think we introduced ourselves, but hey.
Right, so we get going then.
Let's. And Zekun also pulls a steel shield from his back. And while we're moving through these sewers, He's going to make sure that he keeps that like in front of him, just to be wary of any kind of other Hell Knights coming down here and having of some additional protection. The light spell, that glowing wisp, would still be flitting all about him to keep light for the party.
Do you know what? Seeing Zekun do that, Nico will also like... Now, I have got a pan shield, but I put this in my inventory before I watched Delicious in Dungeon. Okay, so... Alright, I thought of that first.
I think Lowen would take point, considering they know where to go.
Sombra would be at the rear, because that's where the Hell Knights first caught them at, and she would make sure that she's the first to know anyone coming from behind, and would also have her shield drawn, which looks to be the top of a wooden barrel, but is reinforced and has handles for her arms to slide through.
Zekun would be right behind Lowen then. Like, if Lowen leads and like checks which direction we have to go, Zekun would be right behind to be up there in front if there's any kind of issue, while still being able to look at the back of the party if anything approaches us from there.
I think Flint would definitely hand back with Sombra as well, looking out for more ambushes.
And Fugo will be on my shoulder.
No, Fugo's in front.
I know.
Take point, Fugo.
Fugo's on like the end of a fishing line, the fishing rod ahead of you.
Hey.
Another, let's say, half hour passes as we move through these sewers. We come to a four-way intersection, and I'd like everyone to roll a blind perception check. Luckily, as we hit this intersection, Nico and Fugo spot the next sword.
Oh yeah, there it is, just over there, look.
As I said, about 30 minutes pass moving through intersections, finding the swords, and continuing on. It's been pretty quiet till eventually Lowen, about 25-30 feet ahead, you can see the tunnel does a 90-degree angle to the left, maybe opens up a little bit to a small like 10-foot space, when out of the corner of your eye, reflecting the light from Zekun's spell right behind you, you can see a door that's been camouflaged with a blanket that looks just like the stonework. And the door, you can see the handle like poking out from behind the blanket, and it's cracked. So like as you're looking at it to your left, you can see the door is cracked open slightly.
Okay. And remind me, the NPCs were also going to the safe house, right? But just through a different...
They went down the other tunnel.
Right. Yeah, I think Lone will definitely sort of point that out and be like, either the others have found it before we did, or there is someone else in there. Anyone want to place a bet?
If they'd found it, they wouldn't have left the door open, I reckon.
If someone else went in, then I also would wonder why they would leave the door open. Unless someone went in and out.
Yeah, might be in a hurry.
All the more the reason to keep our wits about us. How about we just carefully look inside?
Why don't you just have a little peek there, Lowen? You're at the front.
Sure, I will have a look. And Lowen will step forward to, I think with just one finger, just to kind of open it slightly more, not a lot, and just sort of peek one eye and just to see if he can see or hear anything from inside.
As you move towards the door and move your fingers towards it, it slams open, the blanket kind of going flying, and you can see a grimy, grungy little goblin with a football-sized head, wearing leather armor and holding what looks like a big blade, almost like a cleaver with holes in it, and like jumps up and shouts "No!" and like begins swinging the dog slicer at you.
Lower just takes a step back and is just very, I mean, startled, but just sort of like, who are you? Why are you here?
Give me a diplomacy check.
Not engaging in violence whatsoever. Just like, what is this? What are you? Why?
Why are you?
It's a 10.
The door opens Hold on, I'm moving us over to this map. Let's just go ahead and roll initiative.
It's not just a goblin, it's a sewer goblin.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nico appears, he hasn't got like a white chin kind of emblem anywhere on them, has he?
We'll find out on Nico's turn.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, the sewer goblin begins waving its dog slicer at Lowen, but Sombra at the back of the
Oh no.
is first.
You have the option to delay if you want to, which means you can pop back in at any time later in the initiative.
Moving through my ally space,
Is
I
free.
can, but I'd have to tumble through.
Yes, if you wanted to move and flank the sewer, you would have to tumble through its space.
If I fail, where do I end up? Because there's no open space.
That's a great fucking question.
Yeah, that's my primary question. So I had a bit of a build-up, but I'm also Googling it. I'm like, where do I end up if there's no open space?
So, first off, you're striding 5, 10, 15, 20. So your second action, you would try and tumble through. If you fail, your movement ends and you trigger reactions as if you'd moved out of the square you started in. So
There's no other fucking
I would
space.
say it pushes everyone back.
Makes sense in a narrow place like this. We're like literally in a row behind each other in this crammed sewer space. It feels fitting that if Sombra would fail this, we would have like this chain reaction of the party just donk, 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 going backwards.
Just like a stack of bikes falling backwards.
I see
I'd
you've been
like
to the
to-
Netherlands.
Yes. Domino spikes.
I'm going to have Sombra try then.
Okay.
So, seeing the commotion, Sombra sort of just jumps up to get a view over everyone's heads, and using that momentum is going to sort of parkour zigzag between the narrow walls and kind of grabs everyone's shoulder. Sorry, coming through. Kind of hoisting herself
squished
over.
through.
No
And when it-
exercise.
And as she gets to the goblin, noticing the giant weapon is where she's going to try to tumble through. So my first action would be stride through everyone, and my second action would be to tumble through, which I believe is athletic.
Acrobatics.
Acro.
Oh,
That did not happen. I rolled a
Not
natural one, and I'm going to
Not
hero
one.
point that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
yeah.
That is illegal.
Can't get any worse.
Oh my god.
I shouldn't have said
Wow.
anything. It's a nat one again.
Wow.
You jinxed it so hard.
There's that hero point. Easy come, easy go.
everyone gets shoved backwards
Oh.
by Sombra as
And-
she moves through these spaces.
I feel that I want to do the cool thing as Sombra is hopping and zigzagging on the narrow walls. And she thinks, oh, I'm just going to step on this little gobbo's head and tumble through. But shifts his feet and immediately does everything I can to not just land on my ass instead of going in front.
You have a third action.
Well, sorry. I'm going to punch then. So I will just flurry of blows, which is going to be 2 strikes. My first hit is a 10 as I'm like struggling to get my balance from this really ungraceful sort of landing. I feel that my first kick just goes completely wide, and you hear this wet sound of my foot, the bottom of my foot hitting this wall. Ugh. And I'm going to try to use the momentum to completely just push my foot downwards towards this gobbo in my second attack. Sombra, why are you being so uncool?
Wow.
And my balancing foot just kind of slides out underneath me. And again, only because these walls are so narrow am I able to just steady myself. And I just kind of turn around, look at Lowen, and I absolutely just kind of shrug my shoulders.
Womp womp.
That's my turn.
Yeah.
Continuing our tradition and going to the back of the line, Flynn.
Yeah. Flint gets pushed back. Not sure what happened there. Then I'm gonna start as I always do. I'll whip out my throwing knife and try and judge few of his legs to hit this goblin.
Does that give a lot of cover?
That is going to have quite a bit of cover. I'm going to give it standard cover.
Fair.
Yeah. All right, come on, throwing knife. It's a miss.
Weird.
It's a miss.
What's this?
Yeah, I know, right? Still, okay, drew it, pulled out. Can't move up any further. So, can I use my last action to aid?
How? You could try are you trained to intimidate? You
Oh
could try
yeah,
demoralizing?
Using the standard tactics he uses with a lot of his goblin informants. He's just gonna yell, "Shut up and let us through, you dummy!" and just try and throw this thing off.
Okay, roll and intimidate.
All right, for 17.
That is a success.
Hey, I think he knows like a couple of, like everyone does. He's learned a couple of like insults and swears in Goblin. He just yells at him.
Now the goblin is frightened, and that's really good for us because basically all its numbers go down by 1, which also means we have an easier time tumbling through or hitting it. Though I cannot speak for our dice. Let's see how that turns out.
Bad
I would have
times.
thought goblins had thicker skin.
Lowen, you are not at the back of the line, so
No.
this might be easier for you.
But yeah, Lowen looks at this goblin that's sort of waving this weapon around. And he just sort of looks curiously at it and then snaps his fingers. And as he snaps his fingers, like a little spark comes off. And underneath the goblin, sort of there's like flames that start coming to life as he casts ignition.
Oh yeah.
Let me try and I have to make an attack roll.
It's a spell attack, so I am going to give him lesser cover as you're trying not to hit Sombra with this as well.
And it
Barely,
Oh, it barely
and
hits.
only because of
Six-
frightened.
Only because of
Nice.
frightened. Amazing.
Nice.
Thanks, Flint. Thanks, Flint.
Okay, thanks, Flint.
The goblin has this look on its face as Flint like shouts something derogatory in goblin.
Absolutely.
That is 5 points of fire damage to it.
You've got one action left.
Alright, someone's right in front of me. Can I technically, if I were to hurl a weapon, is that entirely possible? I mean, it would have cover, but would that directly, like, would that be too dangerous for Sombra? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, because it has cover because you're not going to hit Sombra.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because when in the last fight, at the last thing, when it was draw a dagger, and he sort of like throws his dagger in the air and it floats, and he just flings his hand towards the goblin where the knife will flow in that direction, and I will be using my focus spell, which is Hand of the Apprentice, which will let me essentially propel my weapon through magic. That is a hit with a 17.
Nice.
That is 4 points of damage, plus 7, I guess. Would be 11.
No, not plus 7, plus 4.
Oh, plus 4, sorry. So,
But still, describe your kill.
right, yeah. So when you sort of like throws his dagger in the air and sort of flicks it at this goblin, and I think it just goes right through its throat and sort of smacks it against the wall. Oh no. I see more dice being rolled.
As the goblin falls into the water, knocked against the wall and into the water, its blood flowing into the sewage. Nico, you begin to hear like grunts and noises from down the hall and around the corner.
Oh no, that little guy's got friends, I think. We've got company. I think we need to get inside this doorway super fast.
Sounds like a plan.
Can I squeeze past?
Yeah, you can move past everyone and step over the body of the goblin. As you move in front of it, you realize it was a storage
Oh
closet.
no.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Wait, so that poor goblin was stuck in that closet?
Inside the closet, you can see like a small comic book, some snacks.
Oh, little buddies just like,
Yeah, it was this chill out zone.
oh no, maybe.
We're not suggesting the goblin should have stayed in the closet. It's always better to come out of the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But Nico, looking in, you get the sense this was like a scout
Yeah.
perched.
Right. Okay. So, can I look at the gobbo? Remembering my encounter with those gobbos before, in the arboretum, is there anything that would identify them as belonging to White Chin?
Give me a society check as your second action.
You know what, I'm gonna use.
4.
Why not? I'll use a hero point on that. That's a 5.
He's
I don't
being mean to us
Points.
today.
What's the point?
It's too hard to tell. The water is now passing over the dead gobbo, and blood is sort of muddying the scene.
Okay. I've got one action left. Okay. I will stride into the closet, and that's my turn.
You begin to hear movement from down the hall and to the left as the other goblins start moving.
This is the only way we can go, right? There's no other route.
As far as you know, you could go back. You don't know what's around the corner here.
Seems like the only way out is through, I guess.
Some of you, at least those with dark vision, which is everyone in this party, actually.
Excellent.
Dark Vision Gang.
Dark Vision Gang.
Can see another goblin literally come out of the hall holding a short bow. Trains it on Sombra and looses an arrow and hits for 26 for 4 points of damage. And then a second goblin pops out, targets Sombra, who is right there in the front line, and critically misses.
Sombra got hit by that first arrow, and she parries it just enough so it crashes into the wall, but not before slicing part of her arm. And hearing the release of the second bolt, actually squats and thrusts her shield up, smashing the bolt before it hits her or anyone else.
Okay,
Dope.
nice. Zekun, we come to you.
Yeah. Zekun is standing there right behind Lowen, who's been burning goblins, right behind Sombra, who's been doing epic monk shit, deflecting attacks, but also getting hit. And these goblins are coming down from the western direction at us. I want to make sure that our front line is prepared against those. So first of all, I want to use my first action on a little cantrip we call Guidance around these parts. From my glowing wisp of light from the light spell, there's just this spark that flies over to Sombra, who is now affected by the Guidance spell, to get a little bit more pizzazz for her next attack. And that's one action. Second action, as that light flows over there, little over-the-table check-in, because I want to aid Sombra on her next attack against the goblins. But I don't know if Ida, the player, actually plans that for the next turn, because I want to prepare to aid Sombra to hit one of these goblins by using my sling to like kind of throw a distracting shot at it, which is part of the aid reaction that I can do then. I would make an attack roll then, and if my attack hits, it won't do any damage, but I provide a bonus to the attack roll of Sombra.
Double checking my movement. Yeah, I will use my action coming to punch. I'm going to punch.
Okay, I'm going to spend my second action basically getting my sling ready for that. And that also already explains my third action, which I have to do because I have to draw out my sling to get that drawn out. So I'm basically trying to align my my throwing of this bullet I have on my sling with the right timing, so it is being fired as a distracting shot in the moment that Sombra is going to make her attack. So only once Sombra's turn comes up and she's making the attack, I will make my aid reaction to see if we can get some extra bonuses on those attacks. And that's 3 actions. That's my turn.
Oh, that sounded complicated, but really cool.
It's not much I can do from here except buffing my allies.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you know you're not going to do much harm, but if it makes it kind of like wince and flinch and make a gap in its like armor for Sombra, yeah, that's cool.
As long as I cannot be the pharmacist, I can be the harmacist of this group, and I enjoy doing that.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, all right. Sombra, it is your turn at the top of round 2.
Sombra sees the glowing matter on her, like, okay, kind of cracks her shoulders, is going to raise her shield first action. Second action, stride.
As soon as you stride up to the goblins, you see a third goblin sort of hidden behind the wall about 10 feet to your left kitty corner. I'm going to give you some cover, some lesser cover because of the walls here, as this other goblin looses an arrow at you.
Wow.
In a readied action. And that's a hit
25 to hit.
for another 5 points of piercing
Oof.
damage.
These goblins are dynamite.
As I try to deflect another bolt, but again, this one kind of slices the other side of my arm. It's not at least stuck in me. But I sort of quickly turn my head around, and I'm going to flurry of blows on this sewer goblin here.
Before you do that, I'm going to take my reaction to aid. So I'm going to do an attack roll for that. According to aid, the DC I have to beat with this attack roll is 15, not the AC of the target. So
Correct.
my bullet goes flying. I just have to beat the 15. That's what we're looking for. And he got a natural 20, which
Whoa,
makes this also
Nice.
a critical success.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which means you get a +2 circumstance bonus on your attack. And if you toggle that status bonus from the guidance, you have a whopping total of +3 on the next attack you're going to do with your flurry of blows.
Hey,
What?
like you said, complicated but cool.
Shenanigans.
We can tell that Zekun is the experienced warrior of the group.
Like, Sombra just kind of squats and jumps completely up, and you see that whizzing bullet underneath her legs from Zekun go flying at the gobbo. And with that, she's going to try to sort of land elbow first on this gobbo for the first strike in flurry of blows. That would be a total 23 to hit.
23, that hits, definitely. It's not a crit.
Max
Hey.
damage for 8 as she jumps up and lands elbow down on the pauldron, the shoulder of this goblin.
Describe your KO, because this is non-lethal damage.
Instead of the goblin kind of standing getting dazed, the goblin and Sombra go crushing into the ground. This little gobbo
Oh, like a full
crumbles
elbow drop?
underneath.
Oof.
Yes.
WWE stuff.
Yeah.
My third action, I'm going to go into crane stance. As I get up from the position I dropped in, put my leg back, and sort of marvel pose in front of the gobbos in front of me.
Avengers! Flint, you can see these goblins are being dispatched, but Sombra has taken at least a couple arrows to her arms. What do you do?
Yeah, Flint just goes, damn fool loves getting themselves punctured. And they're going to move all the way up to the dead gobbo where their throwing knife is. Excuse me, pardon me, as he nips through.
So polite.
Is it a full action to grab his throwing knife out of the goblin?
It will be a second action.
Cool. So I can move, grab it, throw it?
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, he dashes through, dodge rolls, splashes through the water as he grabs his knife. And as he lands, kneels on this dead gobbo and tosses his dagger at the last living one that he can see anyway.
That
Okay,
hits
all right.
For 22.
Nice. All right.
Describe your kill.
Flint lands, looks at Sombra like this woman's going to get herself taken out, and tosses the dagger. But still, like there's a begrudging, like, you know, like it's pretty impressive that she's like straight in there. So it's one where as she's doing her superhero pose, the last goblin behind her just gets a dagger in the face and falls over behind her.
Lowen, there's still one more goblin who like shrieks as the other ones fall.
Can I, what was it called, delay in action?
You can delay.
Okay, I would like
You
to
can
delay
ready in action, or you can delay.
Oh, what's the difference?
Basically,
Delay means you pick up whenever you want after someone else's turn. You move in the turn order. Ready in action means you spend 2 actions to do something on a trigger.
Right, Lone will, I will delay my turn.
Okay, Nico.
All right. So I've heard screams, I've heard shouts, I've heard shrieks. I've seen people run past. So I will also stride in the direction of trouble.
it's always good to go in that direction. Were the snacks good in the closet? The snacks that the goblin had?
I'll show them later. I'll show you what there is. They're pretty basic. All these other ones are murdered. I'm gonna have to just. I pull a spoon from my sheath, and as I draw up, It starts to glow, it separates into spikes, and I fling it towards the gobbo. I cast Needle Darts. That is a 18, a hit.
That hits.
Yeah!
Come on, finish
Shink,
it.
shink, shink. Little needles stab in its shrieking face.
Yeah.
I do 9 points of piercing damage.
Describe your kill.
Yeah, so as it's shrieking, one in the throat stops the sound, and the other two just generally over its face and body. Boo goes like that with his little hands in front of his eyes. Like, no!
Aww.
These poor gobbos. Just defending their sewer territory.
I mean, they
They
struck
could have
first.
explained.
They jumped you.
Yeah, they were offered the time to
Yeah, they
explain.
attacked first, you're right. There was no dialogue, no chatting.
You could still chat with this one if you want, and Samra just kicks at the gobbo at her feet.
Oh, yeah. Have they got any marks? Because we came across some gobbos that are, like, pushing into the Ramble Gardens, belonging to some gobbo king called Whitechin. Have anyone heard of them?
Everyone can give me a blind society check to see if you've heard of Whitechin. Not just Whitechin, King Whitechin.
Who would ever make chins part of their personal branding? It's unbelievable.
I will say, Nico, you don't see any markings on their armor like you saw with the goblins earlier this morning in the Ramble Gardens.
And nothing on in their pockets, on their persons?
Oh, sure. They definitely have things in their pockets. They have dog slicers and short bows and arrows and leather armor.
I'll take a dog slicer because that can be metal. It's for needles, can't it?
Lowen, you have contacts in Rego Cater, the ruin sector. You've heard that there is a group of goblins who are moving out of the sewers and taking over some of the territory in and around the Ramble Gardens. You haven't gotten any names, so this King Whitechin could be related, but it's you are aware of the fact that that's happening.
Sorry, you said these goblins were taking over the Ramble Gardens?
That have taken over, are moving up into an area in and around the Ramble Gardens.
Okay.
I mean, all of you are aware of the Arboretum, the Leshy community that is in the Ramble Gardens and has become sort of a safe space in the Rego.
I guess we could see where the goblins are coming from.
Are the arrows still pointing in that direction?
Yeah.
Are we still on the right way?
You don't see any arrows here in this corner.
I'm gonna
You've only seen the arrows at intersections.
I'm gonna move down a bit further. There's another door here. It opens into a corridor. I'll have a look around. Is there any of those sword signs about?
No sword signs. As you step through that door, you can see the goblin den where they were hanging out.
I think Sombra is following everyone, but has sort of just grabbed the goblin by the scruff, by the back of their vest, and just kind of like loosely carrying them along, likely looking for a place to dump them.
Lowen looks at that like, you're keeping a new pet.
No, I'm looking for the recycling bin. I don't like littering.
We could keep them in here. This is looks where they used to hang out anyway.
Yes, there might all have been a bit of a misunderstanding, and I feel like we are misunderstanding the directions here in the sewer.
You know, we could just maybe wake up our friend here and ask if they've seen these markings. If they live down here, they've probably seen them around.
Potentially.
Yeah, make them take us to them.
Ah, you speak from experience?
Actually, yes. It's a very useful tactic.
Yeah, one I'm familiar with. I don't mean that in a prideful or like happy, respectful way though. So,
No, it wasn't taken that way. Your tone definitely indicates otherwise.
all yours, and I just kind of toss the goblin.
Do we want to talk to the goblin without any kind of torturing tactics?
What? You don't... Whoa, hey. We just... Look. Let me just talk to him, right? We don't have to get too nasty too quickly. We did just off his mates.
You're giving off real bad cop vibes right now. So
Are there any good cops?
it's a good question, actually. Yeah.
I like to think so.
I feel like this is a debate that we can have once we're out of the sewers.
I'm waking this goblin up like as we're doing this, yeah.
Oh, with a kiss.
What? I smooch this goblin real slow. No, I don't.
As you do
It's a quick
with
slap.
a quick slap, the goblin wakes up and looks at you all with fear in its eyes. And that is where we'll end the episode today. We finally got to tumble through.
Woo! We tumbled through.
Tumble through.
Tumble Through presents Twilight's Edge, a Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play of the Council of Thieves adventure path, converted from Pathfinder 1st edition. Tumble Through uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy. Paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Tumble Through is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.